This is Coogan Cassis for IFL TV. We're in the Matchroom HQ here in Brentwood, in Essex. With me, I've got promoter Eddie Hearn. All the big secrets out now.
Yes.
Emirates it is.
I saw a tweet from you last night saying, "I know where it is, unless he's lying to me."
Do you know what?
I should have just told you something else. You see a couple of tweets I was sending out this morning saying, "Turn left, turn right, up the M1, down the M1." I mean, most people over the last sort of 24 hours, I think, had a hunch it was Wembley, but.
Do you know what? I thought to myself, because I spoke to James about this last night, and I said, look, he could be just doing it to wind me up, but then I think I saw too much at points, so I thought it's got to be Wembley.
Do you know what? It was such a great day today because it's all a bit surreal, really. You know, you go to these venues all over the country, and then I just spoke to Carl about 5 minutes ago. I said, wait till you go down there next Monday, because honestly, and you'll be the same because you'll be there next Monday. I know you've been to Wembley before, but when you walk out through the tunnel and you look on the pitch and you just think about that ring in the centre circle and look around and just think there's going to be a fight there. And there's not just going to be a fight there, it's going to be FROCH v Groves. It's because we do so many shows, you don't really get the chance to sort of sit back and soak up the fact that it's done and this is happening, you know? Like a couple of journos said today, Sky said, you know, as a promoter, how do you better this? What else can you do? I never really thought of it like that, because there's so many shows happening that you just literally get up and work every day on each show. But then this one comes around and sort of made me sort of think to myself, what am I going to do after this? You know, this is the pinnacle of everything that I've done. I'm still new in the game as a promoter, really. But how do you break this? You know, I mean, because this is massive. I'm not sure it will ever get any bigger than this.
Right, let's go through some questions for you now, Edward.
Go on then.
Right.
Are these your questions, or are they questions that have been asked on Twitter?
No, my questions.
Oh, sorry.
You'll know if it's a Twitter Q&A. Right, why is it at Wembley and why not at any of the other 5 venues that were touted for this?
A few things. Firstly, I went to a lot of the venues. I didn't go to Old Trafford because I've been there a lot anyway. City Ground, Millennium Stadium, Emirates. That was about it, really. They were the main focus. The first time that I went to Wembley, I walked out and I just said, this is the one. I saw the facilities. You know, it's everything from, I mean, even the seats. You know, when you sit in a seat, and when you go to a normal venue, you sit in a seat and your arse is numb after about 20 seconds. These seats have got proper padding and everything. And just everything about it was the dog's bollocks. But they've got an England game on the Friday. And at first it was like, look, logistically, this is going to be really, really tough to turn it round, get the pitch covered, get the ring up, etc, etc. So we had to look at other options. Then we looked at Emirates, and we were really, really close to doing a deal with Emirates. It's a fantastic stadium. Again, the facilities are great, and more importantly, they invited me down to watch the Liverpool-Arsenal game in the ballroom. That was nice. Great game.
Thanks for the invite. Yeah,
that's right. And we were really close to doing a deal with Emirates. The curfew was a little bit early. The deal, I'm not going to go too much into the financials, but the Wembley deal financially was very, very good as well. Wembley seemed so keen to stage the event, you know, from the bottom up, from the Wembley team to the FA, and a lot of the other clubs were really keen to have it, but because they're football clubs, it wasn't so important to them that it was a Wembley. And over time, Wembley and Sky worked on the logistics to make it happen, you know, with the football match after, and found a way to make it happen. And as soon as they said to me, we can do this, bang, we were at contract stage and it was done. And it was never a doubt in my mind that Wembley was the one. You know, don't get me wrong, I would have been happy to go to Emirates, you know, Old Trafford. You know, in terms of having the event up north, not a problem with that. The first fight was in Manchester. Something told me this was a London fight, and maybe that's because I'm a Londoner, I don't know. But something told me that this was a Wembley fight. You know, the National Stadium, the biggest stadium you can find. And I don't know how big this fight's going to be. I mean, I'm pretty sure it does 50, 60,000. Does it do 70 or 80,000? Well, there's only one way we can find out, and that's do it at Wembley. But honestly, Coop, when you go down there next Monday, I was just looking around, and they had FROCH GROVES posters up on the big screens, all on the wrap around, and I just thought, fucking hell, this is the dog's bollocks. It doesn't get any bigger.
We said that tickets will start at around £30 or £30, and then they'll go up. So you'll probably have every pricing bracket up until the top ticket. What a worry is if you do spend £30 on a seat, that your view will be.
Do you know what? I sat in every priced ticket.
Did you go up to the top?
Yeah, every priced ticket today, and I don't think there's really a bad view in the place. Don't get me wrong. If you're in the £30 seats up there, you're up there. I mean, that's what you pay for. Do you know what I mean? But the fact is, they've got 2 giant screens at either end. Plus, we're looking at putting more screens in. So, if you're in a £30 seat, I think you're going to see properly, and you're going to have the ability to watch the screens as well. But sometimes I think if you're buying that seat, and some people watching this might agree with me, may not, perhaps you're buying it for the atmosphere and the occasion, rather than as a hardcore boxing fan. Don't get me wrong, you want to be able to see the fight, and you will be able to. But like I said, I sat in every seat in that venue today, and I don't think there's really a bad seat in the place.
Does the canapé restrict viewing?
No, the canapé will be
high enough,
all ejected and built with all the sight lines in mind. So the canapé won't get in the way of any seat in the place. 30s, 40s, 60s, 80s, 100s. I think 150, 200, 500, and then there's the VIPs on top, so which we haven't priced yet. But I think there's something for everyone. Then you've got Club Wembley, where they're going to do these packages where it's a really good seat in Club Wembley. Plus there'll be free bars, there'll be, if you want to sit down and have a 3-course meal, great. If you want to be in a ringside, the VIPs will get the Bobby Moore suite, for their hospitality. I mean, it's just got everything as a venue, So whatever you want as a punter can be catered for. If it's low-level hospitality, if it's medium-level hospitality, if it's high-end you want, if it's just a cheap ticket, if it's a good view for great value for money, then there's something for everyone.
Do you anticipate any transport problems?
No, everything will be done in accordance with Transport for London. So 60,000 tickets will go on sale next Monday at midday. Once we sell those, then we'll speak to Transport for London about potentially additional tubes, additional buses, etc, etc. We've got coaches. We've done a deal with C Tickets, who are the ticketing agency for this fight. They'll be putting on coach options from all over the country. But Wembley are first class with that kind of thing. They have major events there all the time. So I'm really comfortable about the transport issues. Wembley's easy to get to. Everybody obviously knows where it is. I just think it's perfect.
So I'm assuming you said today on Sky that you're looking for a start time of around 10 o'clock.
Yeah, again, depending on how many we have in the venue, I think that'll be the earliest the fight would start. But if we sold 60,000, it might give us the opportunity to go a little bit later. If we sold 80,000, Transport for London might want to get people out a little bit sooner, because it'll take longer to leave the arena. So 10 o'clock I think is the earliest it'll be. But a lot of people were asking me, because it's live on HBO, does that mean a late fight? It's not going to work like that. So it'll be a UK fight time.
Okay, can you tell us any news on who will be featured on the undercard?
Do you know what? Not really. I mean, I think that we'll probably start boxing about 6:30. So that'll give us between 3 and 3.5 hours for undercard action before the main event. So you're probably looking at 3 to 4 championship fights and then some other smaller stuff. So normally we'd have sort of 8 fights on a card, 9 sometimes, even 10. I think this one's more likely to be 5 or 6, but the budget remains the same. So what it means is we need to find much bigger fights for the undercard, rather than spreading the money out over 8 or 9 fights. We need at least one other world title fight, but we've got the budget to make probably 2. So you know, we look at people who are close to that world title fight. You know, people like Kevin Mitchell. It'd be great to make a big world title fight for him on the bill. Obviously, you got Scott Quigg, but he's fighting on April the 19th. Jane McDonnell. You got Lee Selby, close to a world title fight. Tony Bellew, who knows, he could be in a world title fight. Joshua will definitely be on the card. You know, but there's probably 6 or 7 fighters that I've got in mind, and I'd like to have at least 2 world title fights. Certainly 1, but I'd like to try and make 2, because, like I said, with this one, it's not really about getting guys out in 4s and 6 rounders and keep busies. It's about just pure title fights. You know, and I'd like to make a big domestic fight, whether that's, you know, Paul Smith against Rocky Fielding, you know, something.
Do you feel slightly under a little bit more pressure to deliver the undercard after the last one?
No, not at all, because the fight's much bigger now. So, and before, you know, we had this conversation, you know, how many times we had a conversation for the last one, and I always felt that I wasn't sure how big FROCH Groves one would be. That's the honest truth. But then when we went on sale and realised how big it was, I thought, wow, this is actually a huge fight. Now, the undercard, right, not every fight gelled, and the undercard was average in the end. Had a lot of big names on it, but as we know, not enough 50-50s the way the fights emerged. And we had a lot of problems, by the way, with put-outs, which, you know, can happen. This time around, I think we need to be more focused on a smaller number of fights, but better quality. So, fights that the public can really get their teeth into. But again, where you go to a bigger venue and it appeals more to the casuals, the undercard means less. Not saying that we're going to just neglect it, but more and more people come for the big one. But we need a couple of really big fights on the bill as well, and that's what we're looking at over the next couple of weeks to see what we can make.
Tickets, obviously, we know go on sale after the press conference, which is Monday the 10th, the first one. What will be the avenues of purchasing tickets?
They'll be through C-Tickets, who will be the official ticketing company. Online, over the phone. The VIPs will be available from matchmaking.com. And, you know, what we'll do this week is we'll put out all the pricing, and we'll put out all the, you know, a plan of the stadium, and let everyone know what seat costs what where. So you can plan what you want to buy. You know, I wouldn't worry too much about missing out. You know, there is a chance you might miss out on certain price tiers, but, you know, and I'll give you an example for that. I think the tickets in the middle, in the lower tier stand, are £100. I think for FROCH Groves they were £200, but obviously they're a little bit further away than you would be for an arena. But in my mind, that's one of the best seats. They will probably go in the first half hour or whatever. As far as the 30s or 40s are concerned, there's 4,000 or 5,000 £30 tickets. You know, so at the MEN or the Famous View Arena, there was only 500 of those for sale. So I don't think people are going to worry about missing out on tickets. There's so many tickets available. I think everyone will be okay. But you might miss out on certain prices that are fairly limited, like those hundreds that people just snap up. But again, you know, there's so many tickets.
What would you suggest was the easier way, going online or phoning?
I think online. I mean, I believe online's much. The demand's going to be huge. I mean, people speculate: will we do 30? Will we do 50,000 in the first day? You know, all I know is we did 19,000 in about 15 minutes at the last fight in that venue. So I'm expecting it to do probably double that in the first day.
So once 60,000 tickets have been sold, then they go on.
We'll go back to Basically, what we're doing at the moment is we're setting up the stadium, and right now at 60,000, we're like halfway up the top tier. So once we've sold that, we'll increase the capacity, but we'll do it with the approval of Transport for London. So we're going to monitor it and see how it goes. I don't see 60,000 going in the first couple of days. If it does, wow. You know, but I do see 30 or 40 going in the first couple of days. You know, the reaction. I mean, it's difficult for me to say because I'm a promoter. I'm probably too close to it. I mean, you'll probably know. I mean, has it felt big today?
It has felt big today. You know, I don't know how you've done it, but you've turned this day into an actual event. Where usually,
but that's what it's all about, isn't it? I mean, you know, and not like winding people like, oh, where is it? Guess where it is? That's what it's about. It's what promoting's about. Keeping people excited, keeping things in the news. But when you've got something this big, it's easy. You know, if I was doing a show at different. I don't. It might be at the York, or it might be at the Coronet, or it might be at the Troxy. It's not going to get people's appetite, but because of the size of this and all the chat, that's what makes it so exciting, And obviously, when you've got something at the end of it, like Wembley, it's worth doing it. But obviously, next Monday is the first time they'll come head to head since the fight.
Which is not open to the public, by the way.
No, not on Monday, but we will have events that are open to the public. So, and they're going to walk out in the centre circle and go face to face at Wembley. It's going to be electric, mate. And when that happens, and when they start giving it to each other, those phone lines, those internet lines are going to go mental.
Just finally, are they both happy? I mean, I heard them both on Sky Sports News today, but are they both, especially Carl, because there's been that talk of sort of coming to London into George's territory.
I think he relishes the challenge of coming to London. I think that ultimately, hold on one sec. Hi there. I think they're both happy. They've got a chance to make history, and that's ultimately the only thing that matters.
All right. Well, listen, Eddie, thanks for. Even though you told me to come here at 12 o'clock today.
It's been a big day. See you tomorrow.
Thanks a lot. Couldn't catch this, Eddie, IFL TV.